Hi y'all, welcome back to the garden. So I'm a little excited because I took a couple days off work this week to work in the garden. It is Sunday and it's a little chilly out here today, but it's going to be nice. I think the high is 71, so I need to get out here and do some things in the garden, including probably planting some things because tomorrow's going to be 79. And it's been unusually humid this early in the garden. But today what I wanted to show you are some things that did not fare so well in the frost or freeze we had earlier this week. So typically our last frost date isn't until around this time of the year, around the 23rd of April to Mother's Day or shortly after Mother's Day. So I don't start doing a whole lot in the garden, as you probably know if you've been following along. Unfortunately, we had a lot of unusually warm weather. It felt more like late May, June here for most of April, which pushed a lot of hostas out of the ground, a lot of perennials out of the ground, started trees and shrubs off earlier than they probably should have started. And so we did have a little bit of damage. Overall, most things are looking pretty good, but let's talk about and show you some of the things that did not like the frost or freeze. So if you are still may get those in your garden, you may want to consider covering them if you're getting a frost coming up so that you won't experience the same thing I did. I did get the fountain running about a week ago or a little longer, which I'm excited about. The crows are really happy. I have some really big crows. I don't know if I've showed you the crows on YouTube, but if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw those last year. There's like 3 of them, and I've got a picture if I can find it or a video of them all on the fountain at the same time. They come drink out of it, which is really fun to see, and you can just see them across the property. They're huge. And so let's talk about some first things that got pretty severely damaged. Astilbes down here. This is dark side of the moon. A lot of bad looking leaves here. They got toasted pretty severely. It will continue to push new growth, and as you can see down here, it's already started this week pushing new growth. So I may let these grow up a little bit and come back and clip some of these off because they will look bad for, you know, the rest of the season. Most of them look this way, especially the ones that are on the top. You can see underneath these aren't so bad. A lot of the perennials are pretty hardy to those type of things, but to the extent the leaves were like super fresh and had just leafed out, or they're just really thin and delicate, then they have issues with that type of thing. It is time, in my opinion, to come through and go ahead and clip back your butterfly bushes. I'm going to be doing that over the next couple days too. As warm as it's been, typically I'd wait a little later, but they're pushing quite a bit of growth at the base, so I'm going to go ahead and get that job completed. We had a little bit of damage on some Japanese maples, not so much this one. This one is summer gold? Yeah, summer gold. It's a small yellow one. We did have some winter dieback I need to come through and clip. This happened to a lot of my Japanese maples. I wanted to wait until May. This video was going to be a video about all the things I've lost during winter because there was a lot of damage, more than usual. In previous years, I've lost several trees that have not leafed out yet, some that have leafed out only from the bottom, and so I'm just going to remove them and not plant any more of those varieties on the property. And then I've had some shrubs that are also just not coming back well, and I've lost, it looks like, several roses. I am excited because my heirloom roses are coming in this week. They should ship in the next couple days. So I'll be able to plant those out. I moved a couple roses as well from the front to the back, and so I'm going to be planting things up here in the front, new varieties that I like and I think are going to do much better and more of like you can see from the driveway when people come up. But let's get back to the shrubs here. A lot of boxwood burn on these young boxwoods. So if you've been here for a while, this is my heuchera river. Some of the heuchera are looking rough this year. They are coming back better than I expected, but it kind of mingles through and connects to the other side. These boxwoods had just been planted when we moved in to this house, and it was planted along that wall of the house. And I removed them immediately because I just didn't like how they were. And they were like probably a third of the size that they are now. They were really tiny. So these are newish boxwood, but I also dotted them kind of in a little S river shape here to go along in between the Heuchera River. And I think it's really cute, especially when viewed from above in drone footage. It's a really beautiful image. The irises are starting to bloom. Got some beautiful iris here. I love this variety. I think it's called Autumn Sunrise. I got them from Shriner's Iris years ago, and I brought one little rhizome with me when I moved to this property from my last house. Of all the irises, or most of the irises that I had there. So all the iris you see in my garden, I've not added any except from the rhizomes I brought at my last house. So this is how big that single rhizome has gotten in, was it planted fall 2023? So 2 winters, I guess 3 winters. This is its 3rd season, full season. This magnolia is still alive, although it is looking really rough. It does have buds on it for blooms or new leaves here, and those still look okay. But I am concerned about some of these things that have not started leafing out yet, because I know they've had a rough go at it. Little bit of frost freeze damage on roses. You can see that fresh growth there that just turned a little brown and curled up. That was from the freeze. Something I was really disappointed in was the Catinus, or the smoke bush that I trimmed up. It got all that beautiful fresh new growth on it, and the leaves froze. So these are really thin, delicate leaves on these smoke bushes, so cover those if you have a chance. Ginkgo also pushed out a lot of growth and got caught by the freeze. Looks really, really bad. I'm hoping that it will push new leaves, and those will fall off as the season progresses, but really disappointed in that one too. That is one that I would probably choose if I was going to cover anything in the future. This one, I think it's called American, and it stays really tiny, and I really love it, but it's not going to look so good this year. Hopefully it'll perk up. Got a little bit of burn on big leaf hydrangeas and mountain hydrangeas, but the smooth leaf hydrangeas and the panicle hydrangeas are fine. They looked great. Not a whole lot of leaf damage. Some of the newest leaves that had just pushed out may have gotten a little tinge of burn or a little bit of curling on them. Oh, look, this is exciting. Let's turn the camera around and show you this. We've got buds on these incredible storm-proof hydrangeas. Look at them down here. In the next video, I'm actually going to be shooting this today because I want to get this done. I'm putting fertilizer injection on these hydrangeas. It is a rather cheap and inexpensive method. There's nothing to plug up. It just works through pressure from the hose. And so I just wanted to show you that because I tested it out last year on the cut flower garden, and it worked pretty well. So we're going to put fertilizer injection on this system, which includes the hydrangeas here and then the hydrangeas under the maple over there, the big leaf hydrangea trials. And so I want to push these along and get them moved up in the garden. Maybe I can force a little extra growth on them this year so they'll get nice and big quicker, especially since they're doing a lot of their growth right now. We're close enough that I'm comfortable starting to add fertilizer to things. Because it looks like although we still got some low temperatures, we may be close to our last frost. Not always sure, and I don't like adding fertilizer until I'm a little more sure, but as warm as it's been, I want to make sure these are getting the supplement that they need while they're still in their major push phase for spring. So Abelias around here tend to do this over winter. They're supposed to be evergreen. You saw these kept a little bit of their green. This is the south side of the house. But these have to be cut back because the tops die. So I've tried Abelias in the garden for 3 or 4 years at this house and the last house. I've not had super good luck with them here in Zone 6. This is actually the best I've ever had an Abelia look. And this is the Southern Living Plant Collection. Pink Suntastic, really beautiful Abelia, but here they just suffer quite a bit of dieback. And like I said, this is the best looking one I've had come out of winter. Actually, this one right here is the best looking one probably. So they always need a little cut back here if you want to grow them. Look at these perennial geraniums I planted last year though. Already got some beautiful blooms on them, and looks like they're doing a little bit of spreading, just what I wanted. I'm in a mood this year to remove some things because I'm not creating any more garden bed space. So over the years, I've kind of experimented, as you know, with some plants that are zone 7. There's very few in my garden. I try and plant exclusively zone 6 plants, but like this is a zone 7 plant. Gorgeous viburnum if you can grow it. It's called yard line, and Proven Winners developed it to be a screening viburnum. So it grows upright, has evergreen, very shiny, glossy leaves. But here in zone 6, it tends to defoliate, and it's not rated for zone 6. I've tried to push it along being on the south side wall. As you can see, it died back to the ground this year. Last year I had a little more luck. It was just so cold. You can see how brittle the stems are up here, completely dead. So I'm probably going to end up removing this one this year and consider this a conclusion of my trial for zone 6. It did survive 2 winters, but if it dies all the way to the ground, it's not like something I want to continue to perpetuate every year. So, great shrub. They are gorgeous. I've seen a full-size one at Cultivate a couple years ago when they introduced it to the market. They brought it in a container, and I would recommend this over maybe like some emerald green arborvitae if you are in a location that can support this being evergreen. But here I wish it was a little hardier for zone 6 because I would be sticking them everywhere. So these type of things are things I'm going to be removing just because I want to get plants in here that are actually performing and close gaps that I have in the garden. Something that has really taken off this year is some spireas here. Down here, this is blue kazoo. I have 2 of these, one at the front and this one at the back. I planted them as, I think they were 1 gallons. I think I bought them at Etorbs. I bought 2 of them. They may have been, I think they were 1 gallons. They were smaller shrubs and they have really taken off this year. It has nice foliage, so you can see maybe that little blue tinge there. Really beautiful. A little bit of damage on some perennial hibiscus or rose of Sharon here. It is pushing new growth though, so you see some leaves in here got toasted from the frost, but underneath it is pushing new buds already. This Kinsley's Ghost Honeysuckle is going crazy this year. I did put this on a obelisk or structure here, and I thought I would have to come through. It looked really rough. Thought I'd have to come through and actually cut it back, and as soon as it got warm, it took off, and it is gorgeous. So really love that. Proven Winners in their trial garden had them wrapped around a circular or cylindrical wire just from the hardware store, and it looked really beautiful too. But I'm loving this right here. It is the closest thing you would be able to get to like a eucalyptus looking plant here in zone 6. So you see that right there. This is the blooms that it will put off, and it looks very much like eucalyptus in both color and the bloom shape there. Some of the roses are looking okay. They did suffer a lot of damage over winter. Others, as I mentioned, I'm going to have to cut back. So some things I'm thinking about removing include the elderberries from my garden. I'm having a lot of issues with them just being extremely slow here. I know in the west, the Pacific Northwest, they tend to do really well. This is laced up, and it died really far back. I mean, this has been planted, this will be its 3rd year, and it's not put on much growth at all, and it died to right here, and I would just have to cut this back. So I don't know, I love the shape of them, but I think I'm going to remove these in favor of something else. I've never had great luck with elderberry here at this property or the last one. I have the yellow version also that Proven Winners released that always does well in the spring, and then it struggles the rest of the season. So I'm not sure if it's placement or, you know, they just don't like our soil and climate conditions, but I'll probably be removing both of those in favor of something else because I am getting some more proven winter shrubs in, and then I have some other things to plant. So as I'm coming across things that just aren't performing to my standard and they've been in the garden a couple years, I just like, why keep them around if they're not doing well in your garden? And it's totally not that these aren't good plants. Like, the brands that I work with don't release bad plants. They just don't always perform everywhere in the country as, you know, they might elsewhere. So the fact that I've trialed it and it doesn't work in my garden, if you're not in Southwest Ohio, or even if you are, it might perform better. This is one of the things I've learned from moving on this property is this is a very exposed property. We're not in a subdivision. We're not protected by winds from winter, and winter winds on this property are really bad, and it just will kill some things. There's several things in this garden that just died this winter that are perfectly hardy below zone 6, and they year after year have not made it, or they didn't make it this past winter. And it's a trial for me. So I just gonna have to remove them. So we'll talk about those things I'm removing later. As far as some things that were winter burn back here in the garden, most of the things back here look really good, except a fiber optic button bush that I had back here. It's actually pretty pitiful. It had leafed out really beautifully, and it's showing some new buds right here. You can see a little green there, but all these little leaves that I had put on completely got decimated. My poor hostas back here on the back side of the property really took a hit too. I'm hoping that they'll push some new leaves and then I can come out here and pull these others out as they shrivel up a little more, because they look real sad. I hate it, but it got so warm and they just pushed out of the ground so quickly. There's no way for me to cover all of the hostas or the plants on my garden. That would require a lot of blankets. But to the extent you have a small garden just on the front of your house or the rear of your house, and you have some of these things, I would recommend covering them. I would choose cloth over plastic. Plastic doesn't really provide any insulation, and if it's actually touching the leaf, it can cause more damage because it's conducting that cool temperature to the actual leaf surface. So pick some cloth over plastic. Moving blankets work well, although they can be pretty heavy for some of these things. So just a plain sheet, if you have one, is better than nothing. So because I don't want to get too much into the things that I'm going to be removing this season, because that's an entirely separate video, I'm going to wrap it up here. I was just trying to show you the things that were damaged by freeze or frost this week. So if you have those things and you may have a frost coming up, you can cover them to protect yourself from the agony of coming out the next morning and seeing them severely damaged. So I'm going to grab the materials to add drip or fertilizer injection to those zones, and I'll check you in the next video. Thank y'all for joining, and remember, be a light. Take care. Bye.